You are listening to episode 256 of Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we know who we gonna call, and it's not who you think in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
So this week we played a little bit of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on the 3DS. Well, I don't know what you played it on, but I played it on the
3DS. That's all. Okay. That's all you can right now.
Well, I
guess you could have a 2DS.
And I didn't know if you had a preservation device of some sort that would allow you to play it, which would be kind of weird.
I mean, I'm sure you could probably run it on the Switch. I mean, well, no, you couldn't because it needs two screens. Yeah, no.
You might be able to run it on the Wii U. That'd be interesting.
Right? I'm sure they've got emulators for like PC.
And speaking of Wii U, you'll hear much more in a little bit. But
the phone. You can run 3DS stuff on a phone, I think. Oh, no, maybe just 2DS. I don't know. Anyways, that's for other people.
Yeah. All right. So, of course, you can find the Game Deflators podcast on thegamedeflators.com. You can also find us on social media at Game Deflators on X, at The Game Deflators on Instagram and Facebook. And you are listening to a podcast application right now. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button to whatever podcast app you've got. Leave us a 5-star review. Listen to all of our older episodes. And also find us on YouTube at Game Deflators. Okay. Let's dive into our recent pickups. And of course, I had no gaming pickups, but I will have one in 5 days.
Yeah?
I will have Mario in 5 days. But I did pick up some D&D materials and, of course, Magic cards, because that's what I pick up nowadays. And for the D&D books, I actually was on eBay just kind of scouting around for like Kobold Press stuff because I was kind of curious what I could find on there. And they had somebody was selling like an 8-book bundle on bidding, and I'm like, okay, I'll just bid $160 and see what happens. And I won said bid for $160. So
do you feel like that's like you paid too much, or do you think that's what you would about expect to pay?
No, I would actually expect to pay more than that. So each of those books generally runs around, like new in store would run about $45 to $50 per book, depending on the book.
Okay, so you got them for about $20 each.
Roughly, yeah, about $20 each, so about 50% off what I would expect to pay.
Nice.
So not too bad. I mean, a used copy, yeah, could I get a used copy for that price? Sure. But these were all brand new. The only difference is like as it was marked, it said, oh, well, these books have like a couple dings on the corner, because of shipping and all of that. I'm like, I don't care. Like it is what it is.
If you're gonna keep them and use them, it doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah, and they're all really cool. Like even some of them that are just like settings for like Kobold Press specifically, it's like, oh yeah, we've got like these new races unlocked. There's 700 spells available to players that can come out of this. So like these are things that, for you, example, as a sorcerer in my campaign, if you're like, hey, I'm kind of curious, can I use whatever book? I can be like, here, Kobold Press, there's 700 spells that are here to pick from, and just find what aligns from you.
Can I use that book?
Sure.
Because I get cleric and sorcerer spells.
Yeah. I mean, by all means.
I know all my options, and I'm having a tough time deciding. Like, I think I went with spiritual weapon last level up, just because I was like, I mean, I guess why not?
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff is adapted for 5e, so like I have no issue with it. Like, I would probably, honestly, I've got the book of the Tome of Beasts 1 and 2 from them as well that I picked up a long time ago. I'll probably pull creatures from that arena. In fact, I have pulled creatures from that in the past for like my Avernus campaign. So I'm no stranger to pulling from like third-party resources to utilize them for campaign books. Like I just do it all the time. So I'd have no problem with you guys utilizing some of those books for those types of spells and items and things of that nature.
Yeah. Remind me next week. I will peruse.
Yeah, of course. So, and then of course the Magic cards I got were for my Red Black Rat deck I'm running. And then I've picked up a few things recently to kind of prepare for the new set. So the new set is a lot of dinosaurs. In fact, they have Welcome to Jurassic Park cards for the new set coming out.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. So it's Elixin something, I don't remember, but or Ixalan, I think is what it's called. I never played it
for that. It sounds kind of fun. I mean, I really like the fairy tale-ness of the current set. I really I think I have like a Friday scheduled where maybe we could go do a draft or something.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, either that or we can just get the guys together and do a booster box of something,
Yeah.
so that's always an option as well. But I'm prepping for that, so I picked up more dinosaur cards that are in the older standard sets in, preparation for when this new thing comes out. There's supposed to be a lot of things that are geared towards dinosaurs specifically. So I know Green Stompy is probably going to be pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how card prices are. They could be $2 right now, and then something comes out that like helps another card out, and that card shoots up to like, $30.
You're specking?
Yeah, I'm specking for the most part. So I do a lot of spec buys actually in Magic. And I
Just like a full set?
no, well, yeah, I'll pick up a playset generally. So like I picked up this Werefox card that's white, right? And I picked up a playset for I think it like foil playset, by the way, and it was like $3 for all of them foil. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll hold on to this because I know, and I've seen cards go from like, they're sitting at like a couple dollars and then they're like $18 overnight
Mm-hmm.
because somebody
Something happened.
utilizes X card and then that one becomes really good. It's an important part of a deck. It has to work like that. So I spec buy all the time whenever I can. Like that Agatha's Cauldron card that guy Rob pulled at the tournament when we did the sealed. At the time, it was like a $20 card. It shot up like 60, $70. Like just because it's being used in multiple formats. So when stuff comes
Have
up
you
that
paid out on any of these specs yet?
I'm trying to think. A Chandra, actually, I paid out. I picked up all my Chandras for about $1.50, $2 a pop. They're sitting at, I want to say it's like 8 or 9 a piece now for those Chandras, maybe more. Nothing that's been like huge in terms
But
of
like you already
incremental
sold
value.
those?
No, I still have them. I
Well, that's
use
what I'm
them.
saying. Like, is there anything that you've spec bought that you've actually
Oh,
turned into something else?
no, I don't look at it from an aspect of selling. I don't really sell Magic, honestly, like
Oh,
unless it's
so
my
you're
extra
just like,
stuff. I'm spec buying in the case of like holding on to things so I can build decks in the future that
oh,
are
okay.
meta. Yeah. So that's what I mean by when I spec buy. I spec buy specifically thinking this is going to go up in value. I don't intend on selling it. I intend on using it, and I don't want to pay, kind of like when we do with video games, right? We buy games that are lower priced when they're used during the current generation, the prior generation, knowing that those games will probably shoot up in value at some point. That's
You're just
kind of what I
trying to
do with
get in
Magic.
while it's easy
Yeah, pretty much.
because you'd rather get it now in case you need it later so that you don't have to buy it at later prices.
Yeah, pretty
Gotcha.
much. And Magic fluctuates like crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing there. And as far as currently playing, we're still playing The Last of Us 2. My wife saw the Joel scene and she was like, I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen like that. So I forget where we are at. We've already kind of left. I think it's Jackson, Wyoming, technically is where we're at. So we've already left. She's with, I forget the other girl's name, but Ellie and her travel out and they're kind of checking out the city and stuff. So that's where we are right now. And we haven't played it for a couple days because we've been busy. I also continue playing White Knight Chronicles. I got past the chasm, got past the Griever back, and got past this like other city. I think it's like Sinka City or something. And I am now in this like open desert type of landscape that has tunnels underneath. And that's where I am right now. I've got like 4 chapters left in the game and I'm finished. And then I can call that one done. And it's been forever. And it's still like, it's not captivating me at
Yeah.
all. Like, it's a cool game. And I get what they were trying to accomplish, like level 5 creators of Dark Cloud. Like, I was hoping this would be a great game because of that and the experiences I had with those other titles by this company. And it's just not hitting the mark for me. And I know
Yeah.
there's a second one, so I'm kind of hoping the second one is like better and
I
improves
watched
upon a lot of stuff.
I watched a video a while ago just because I really didn't know anything about White Knight Chronicles, and this guy, he covered both of them, and I mean, he said that I think they're both kind of pretty mid. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think the second one would be enough to like turn you around on
gotcha.
the
Yeah,
series.
and that makes sense. I mean, and the definition on that of mid for these games is actually pretty accurate. Like, are they terrible games? No. Are they great games? Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's enough to kind of get you to where like you're interested and you'll kind of keep playing it, but not enough to be like, oh, I have to play this for countless hours all day long type of
Yeah.
deal. Um, yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's nothing. I mean, if I had to choose between like this game and Cardia, I would actually choose Cardia all day long.
Wow.
Yeah, and that
Games
says
to fall
something.
asleep to.
Games to fall asleep to. Yeah, I've got to pick up something like or add a game into my playlist here that's really going to kind of keep me up. So we'll see.
Or you know what you need to do is find the perfect game to fall asleep to. Like, what's the most relaxing game to just like drift off as you play? It's got to be like Animal Crossing or something.
It's easily got to be Blue's Clues or Miss Spider's Tea Party.
Oh, dude, Blue's
gotta be
Clues
that.
was incredibly engaging.
It
Took
actually,
all of my energy and focus.
it was quite engaging actually. And okay. Let's see. We'll see. I see the special game for summer on here for you, and so that could mean you're still playing it. We'll see.
Yeah. Let me talk about that one, John.
Well, I'll get into it in a second. So a couple more things. So I'm playing Arena still on Magic and unloading as many points in that. I'm actually Diamond 2 right now, so two more jumps, and I can be Mythic, hopefully. And
how many Mythic are there?
I think there's only 500, if I
Really?
recall. Yeah, I don't remember, but there's not many Mythic players. I don't know. I don't remember the exact number, but when we had Darren on, he had said it was a certain number. And then Magic Tournament. So I actually played this past week. I did some Standard, and I went 3-0 again. So that's always fun. I will have to say that my burn deck is really starting to piss off some of the players there where I play. Not so much because, it's the same deck being played, but more so because it's just burn. And when you're beating players that have like $400 and $500 decks with like a $75 deck, it pisses them off. Like just absolutely pisses them off to like get ramped within 3-4 turns and there's nothing they can do. I mean, it's honestly fantastic in my opinion to do it. And I just love when they're like dropping their $70 shield on the board and I kill it right away. It's the greatest thing ever, dude. So yeah, I'm having a good time in Magic, and I think I built up, it's like $45 in store credit so far with them. And then in terms of promo cards, I've picked up like $25 or more in promo cards. So it's been a pretty good run so far in Magic, and all thanks to that burn deck.
Yeah.
So pretty stoked with that.
So it looks like, according to OS Gamers, once you hit Mythic rank, percentage number, so you'll be in the top like 3%.
Oh, wow.
And then as you go up, I guess you get to a count number of 1,200.
Oh, interesting. That's pretty crazy to be in like the top 3% of Magic players at that point.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I'm kind of hoping I can get there with this red deck. Yeah, be great. All right. Well, that's it for my stuff.
All right. So this week, I actually did things gaming wise. It may have all been in the last 24 hours, but it still counts as this week. So I've been watching some videos online. A couple of people have talked about this game, Backpack Battles. It's a demo. It's in the Steam Next Fest. So, John, one of my favorite parts of Resident Evil is the sorting. In the attaché case, Tetrising all your items to fit well. This is a game constructed around that.
To be fair, I enjoy that as well. In Neverwinter Nights, it is like the best thing ever to like try and fit all of these items and stack them and organize them by type.
So that's what this game is. You have in the demo, there's 2 different classes, and they have kind of like some fundamental ways that there's different like builds in this. It's a auto battler. I don't know if you've ever played like one of those. At least I think it's an auto battler. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't play a lot of these kind of games, but basically you set up your character and then combat just happens between you and a random opponent that has like their build. So basically you make builds and then your builds fight each other, and you have to get to 10 wins before you get 5 losses. In between each round, you get a chance to spend money made during the match to buy items. And in this case, what you're doing is you start off with like a backpack of like 6 squares, and like I think the adventurer, I don't know what their name is, they start with like a sword and a 4-leaf clover and a banana, and each of the items does a thing. Like, so your sword does like so much damage every like chance you get to attack, and the 4-leaf clover increases your luck, and the banana like heals you or restores stamina or something like that every like 5 seconds or whatever. But each item has like a star next to it where it can align with something next to it in your storage. And then you have like a randomly rolled selection of like, I think it's like 7 or 8 items for various prices. Some of those are more bags to add more space, and a whole variety of different items, like different, like more bananas and like blueberries and carrots and garlic and all things that add different effects, different kinds of weapons, different armors, shields, and different items will also fuse together. So if you put certain items next to each other in your bag, there's recipes that will fuse together to make a new, more powerful thing. So each round you develop your build and you try to, go in the way that the items give you. You can kind of like re-roll the store for a cost. So it's got some economy to it. It has like distinct, advantages and disadvantages to certain things. Like this build will beat this build out, but it's a free demo. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's very basic art style. I'm playing it on my like super old laptop now. It's 2016. I mean, she's good for as old as she is, but the battery is shot. I was actually looking at battery prices and I'm thinking about for like $40 getting a new battery. Last night I had to download and update my computer, and then I had to download and update Steam, and then I downloaded this game, and then I played it for about 20 minutes and the battery died.
Honestly, I wonder if you could pick up like a brand new laptop for like a couple $100 that would be just as strong, if not powerful.
No,
More
there's
powerful.
no way.
You don't think so? I mean,
No,
dude, that computer's 7 years old.
Yeah, but like this computer has like some pretty good stats for like being 7 years old. Like at the time it was like a $1,600 computer that I got on like a decent sale. But yeah, I don't know. It does everything I need it to do. I might upgrade it eventually. But anyways, so that's what I picked up. Also, Dota 2, the international, is live. They are playing out. The main event started today. Things I didn't watch all of the group matches leading up to, so I'm not exactly sure, and I actually haven't had time to watch today because I've been playing games instead.
You should live tweet Dota responses as you watch it next time.
I mean,
I mean, while you're sitting there, just literally tweet away.
Yeah, I could check that out.
I mean, it might be worth it. I mean, you're already doing it, right?
Yeah. Usually I'm doing 2 things at once, so that would be introducing a third thing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It's a challenge maybe I need to face.
Watching Dota, pooping, and texting. I mean, it's the best thing. I mean, it's easy, dude.
So, I played The Darkness this morning for a few hours.
Oh, a few hours.
And if I look at the weather, we got 100 degrees today, 102 tomorrow, 100 on Tuesday, 100 on Thursday. Baby,
Really?
It's still summer.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's still summer.
Let's see.
But I'm getting near the end. So I am in chapter 4 out of 5 now. Chapter 4 is only like 5 sections long because it's back in now. What I have realized is the darkness's mind, not my mind. So
I will say where I'm at, it's much cooler than you. Like, I think I'm about 3 degrees colder per day than you. So you are lucky you live where you live, because if we go by my temperature, it is done.
You got to move to the heat island.
No, I'm good.
You're out at the boonies still.
I'll stay out in the boonies.
So yeah, I'm working my way towards finishing The Darkness. I will commit to having it done. We'll say hopefully by the next podcast.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I've been playing some of that Backpack Battles. I watched a bit of Dota the last few days, and that's basically what I've had going on this week. Pretty light for me, but hey, it feels good to do some of the thing that, supposedly you're here to listen to us talk about that we do.
Yeah.
It's like 2/3 of my intro, man.
Didn't Summer Games Challenge start in like May?
Dude, I think I came up with it before then. Like, I don't have excuses, John.
And you know what is glaringly missing from here is Pikmin, which I don't know how the hell you have not beat that game yet.
I'm savoring it.
You're savoring it. Okay, I gotcha. All right. Well, other than that, I guess we have a discussion topic today, which is collecting goals.
Yes.
And I'm guessing this is more open. It's not necessarily just gaming per se. So you kick it off. You tell me what you're thinking here, and then I will
Yeah,
talk to it.
so I watched a video like right before I messaged you about this discussion topic from the Spawn Wave guy on his second channel, I think, where he does like his short videos, but it was on the PSP Go, and they made a new like thing that you can plug into its like proprietary memory, and it's like a little ribbon that goes to like a holder for a micro SD, and you can actually just like plug it in, fold it inside, and leave it inside of the PSP Go. He said he had to like shave it down just a bit on the plastic to make it thin enough that it wasn't like bumping the edges as much. But it basically, you can open it up to like over 100 gig storage. And I've always thought the PSP Go was really cool. And one thing I noticed is like I do have like an interesting, like at least for me, I've got a collection of like handheld gaming devices. I got a Vita, I got a PSP, I got the Playdate, Game Boy Advance, both of the Game and Watch things they released, the Famicom Micro uh Game Boy, my 3DS, and I really love like handheld gaming and just being able to hold something and being able to like, if I wanted, take a game console with me wherever I was going. And a PSP Go has always been really cool, I thought, even though I own basically two versions of that in my Vita and my PSP, but like it is kind of its own unique thing, and it is something that I would like eventually. And it's like, maybe over time that could be a goal of a collection for me, is to try to amass more handheld gaming consoles specifically, and maybe not like delving into like crazy things. Like I don't need to go like get a Neo Geo just to say I have one, but
Yeah, or like the Tiger Electronics handhelds and stuff.
yeah.
Although some of those would be pretty cool depending on which one you get.
Oh, like the little like LCD screen ones?
Yeah,
Oh, I had
yeah,
a few of those as a kid, and it's like, oh man, those were neat, and I would like to have one like at my desk at work, like the Dragon
yeah.
Ball Z one or something.
I think I had one for Mortal Kombat actually when I was a
Yeah.
kid. Honestly, if I am going back home pretty soon for a little bit, and it would be interesting to see if I still have some of those like tucked away in the closet somewhere. I'll have to check.
Do your parents never clean the closet?
No, it's all well, okay, so couple things. I moved out, all of my stuff stayed in the closet, remained as is. My friend Justin moved into my room, funny enough, and he just put all of my stuff in the corner in that closet, like jammed it in there, and it made room for his stuff. And then my parents at one point moved a lot of my things up into their attic and then this other random closet underneath our staircase, which is where I found a ton of video games and stuff last time I was there. So really, I mean, there's a whole bunch of my stuff scattered throughout my house. So it's just a matter of going up and seeing what's in there.
Oh,
Like I
dude,
still,
most of these are like $10.
yeah, they're super cheap. They're not very much, but I'm pretty sure I have some, and it'd be cool to get my like original versions, if I can find them. But as far as like collecting goals, I think handhelds is an interesting one because if you were collecting, it's easier, in my opinion, to collect handheld consoles, and especially when you can emulate stuff nowadays. And if you had like, an emulation card for like a 3DS or 2DS, like you've got one obviously for Game Boy Advance, you could probably get one for Game Boy Color and things along those lines. And the ability to display those and have like a really cool collection displayed is far easier than doing, bigger
Actual
consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even just physical games. Like I have, like my whole space is just tons of physical games. There's been times where I'm thinking like, should I reduce that and like put other things in there instead? Like, I would say like statues of games and not magic cards, but like my D&D stuff, little things along those lines that
Would you
I don't
ever
know.
like frame a magic card?
Depends on the card, I guess. Like I've got a couple cards that range in like the $250 to $400 range, and then I've got like volcanic islands and things like that are pretty pricey. But for the most part, I don't really have anything per se that'd be like, yeah, I need to frame this right off the bat. Maybe like an original, like one of my original cards that I bought when I was a kid, that might be worth framing just for sentimental purposes. But it's not like they're worth anything outside of the sentimental aspect. So I do have like my original booster card packs actually from when I first played.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would have kept going, but I didn't.
Yeah. It's it's crazy.
But yeah, as far as collection goals are concerned, you know, I've had my RPG collection goals for a long time. Right now I'm obviously in this like play Magic, get my Magic cards. I might fall off that a little bit and do some other stuff. You know, my D&D stuff, I like to collect that. I've got, you know, you've seen it. I now have like 4 plastic tote things where I can put printed minis and everything else. So like I'm amassing kind of a collection of minis, which is nice because like we had Ginny and Joel came over yesterday to do like a one shot with us. And Ginny was like, hey, I need like a giant and some phase spiders and like these few things. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I've got them. Yeah.
Got it on
like,
tap.
Like I just printed and painted a number of those things. Let me grab them so we can use them for tonight.
Yeah.
So that type of stuff's fun. And then Joel's also got like a ton of minis and books. So between the two of us, we have so much crap that like I'll give him a buzz and say, hey, for tonight, I need like XYZ. Can you bring it over? Like it sucks because like he knows then what's going to be coming. But at the same time, he does that to me too for the camping. Where he's like, hey, I need to borrow like these few creatures. Do you have them? And so I think it's kind of like a DM's understanding that we're not going to like snafu everything that's happening in metagame things just because we know what creatures are coming. And we don't necessarily know when they're coming or how powerful they're going to be or anything along those lines. So you know, not to get into the whole D&D thing, but yeah, that's...
Well, I mean, you basically go into D&D having an idea that you're going to fight something. And like the only time it ever matters is it's like, oh, I know this thing can't be hit by this spell. And then you choose just not to cast that spell on it.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares? Like nobody's there to win D&D.
No, you're there to have fun. And that's where, as a DM, it comes into play to make sure that you do certain things to creatures to ensure that it's not an easy fight. That's why every fight you guys do is technically deadly when we play. But as far as going back to collecting goals, that's, you know, it's just things I like to do or like to collect. So I don't necessarily have outside of, like I said, the RPGs, there's not really you know, I have to collect XYZ thing. It's just, hey, I enjoy doing this. I'm going to collect some stuff. And if down the road decide I'm going to get rid of it or sell it, whatever it may be, I can do that if I want to. And I have the space to do it. So why not? Like board games is another thing. I have a collection of board games that when people come over, we can enjoy and we can play. And I just recently actually got rid of a bunch of board games that we weren't playing and that we know people aren't going to play with us. And some of them were donated. Some of them were put in the trash because I know nobody's going to buy them at a donation place. So, you know, it is what it is with that stuff. And, you know, as long as you just have this like understanding that how to avoid hoarding in your house, generally you can amass multiple collections and have fun with it. And it's all about displaying too. Yeah. So if you can properly display what you're collecting without going to the extreme, I think that kind of helps with collecting goals as well.
Yeah. I just picked up a new Gundam model and I'm still like just barely opened another one. I've got like the plane from Porco Rosso I got to put together. I guess still finished building the Sunny. And then my buddy just got me Ho-Oh and Lugia models, which I've never had like a Pokemon model before or put together like a character model like that, only like robotic stuff or like, you know, some kind of something that is like a built thing, not like an organic thing traditionally. So I've got those now and I'm going to try putting those together with my wife because she's never put together like a model from like sprues and stuff. And I put together a ton. So I figured that would be like a fun thing we could do together because like they don't have a lot of pieces and they're all like already just color blocked out. So you don't have to do like painting or line work or anything like that. But I do have plans for them. I want to see if I can't take them and then maybe either get or make like a Pokeball. And instead of just having them displayed as individual models, have it displayed as like like a figure piece with like the three things all interacting and stuff. That could be something cool to work on as like a project and a way to save space or, you know, enhance the space more, because like I am running out of shelf space for all my things and I had more things that I want to get. So I need to get more creative now.
You should pick up, like we have in our bedroom, the IKEA cube things that go
Yeah,
on the wall.
I take pictures of your guys' setup because I thought it was really cool. Like I had an idea. I've had a bunch of different ideas. I just, you know, one day I'll execute on all this stuff. For now,
Yeah.
I don't have enough things, thankfully, that I need to take that step, but it will be there eventually.
You know what's glaringly missing from your background here is a 1-to-1 size Cubone.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's
I
what you
know.
need.
I saw it. I love it. I want it, but
I know, dude. I was walking down the aisle actually, so I ended up picking up my son. You know, in the Mario cave worlds where they've got like it's
da-da-da-da-da-da,
well, it's like
da-da-da-da-da-da.
it's not a turtle, it's like I forget what they're called, but they have the blue shell on top, like the smooth
Oh,
blue
a
shell.
Buzzy Beetle.
Is that what? Okay, yeah. So they
Yeah,
had a Buzzy Beetle plush, and I was like, oh, I gotta get that.
nice.
So I grabbed that because like the other one was like a Kirby, a Goomba, and a Bowser's shell, and I'm like, how often do you find this plush, like the Buzzy Beetle? Like, how often do you see something like that? And I'm like, I gotta pick that up because that's like so
It'd be like
out
if
of
you saw like the Mario bat,
yeah,
the
like
swooper.
yeah, like something like that, right? Like it's just so random. I'm like, I
Yeah.
have to get that for him because like how many times you're gonna see
I want
that
a
going into a
Thwomp
store?
plush.
That'd be a pretty cool one. They actually have one, I think. But yeah, so as I was walking by, I saw the cube and I'm like, oh, I'm like Cubo, and that's but I felt it and it was like it wasn't like the super soft like
No,
squishable or whatever. It was like an actual like
he looks
big
good.
plush. Oh yeah, dude, it looks solid. But $50 was not bad for that.
Yeah.
So I mean, given that it's Pokemon branded and the size of that thing, I mean I was tempted, dude. Like even myself. What is that? Oh, Cubone on your water bottle. Nice. Yeah. Ryan loves Cubones. So donate Cubone things to him. He will enjoy it. And we'll
Oh
we'll try
God.
and spam his house with Cubones.
That would be insane. If anybody like we have fun on this podcast. If anybody ever gave us something for being on this podcast, I would not even know what to do with myself.
Cubones. Just
Right?
give them to Ryan. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go into
Yeah.
our articles.
So this week we're going to take a look at the closing of the Activision and Blizzard deal, a small story of a little console that could, and this week Nintendo reveals a third Mario. And then finally we are going to cover what I would say is the disappointing reveal of the PS5 Slim.
All right. So, well, our first article here is Phil Spencer extends an olive branch to PS5 players as Xbox Activision Blizzard deal closes. And he says, you are welcome here and will remain welcome. This is Khan Sarin at Games Radar. So, you know, we've talked about how there's been, you know, what's going to happen after this closes in regard to exclusivity on a number of these smaller games. So you have things like, you know, Spyro and Tony Hawk, that are now owned by Microsoft, and Crash Bandicoot, etc. Crash Bandicoot's the one that still stings for a lot of people, obviously. But like, what happens with that? And you know, this is kind of, you know, a positive sign for now. But to kind of go deeper on that quote, he says, "For the millions of fans who love Activision, Blizzard, and King Games, we want you to know today is a good day to play. So you're the heart and soul of these franchises, and we are honored to have you as part of our community. Whether you play on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, or mobile, you're welcome here and will remain welcome, even if Xbox isn't where you play your favorite franchise." So that, in a sense, pretty much says, hey, these games are not going to just be on Xbox. They're going to be available for all of you, which goes back to statements you've made in the past of it's probably not viable for them to keep a lot of these, you know, smaller franchises like a Spyro and Crash Bandicoot exclusively on Xbox for the time being, which makes sense in the time being for this generation. Now, I can still see in the future for the next generation that they say, nope, it is exclusive, because they got to make that money back, right? From that huge acquisition. That's got, despite the fact that Microsoft is what, like a $2 trillion market cap company, they still got to make that money back for this particular division. So I can still see this being a matter of they're, not exclusive right now, but down the road, if there's another Xbox console, they will be. Or speculation I've brought up in the past. This is the last Xbox console. They're going forward with, specifically game development and being a mass publisher of games and putting these games on everything else and making their money that way and not even worrying about the hardware. So, all in all, no matter which direction it goes, it sounds like your Spyro and your Crash Bandicoot and your Tony Hawk are all safe to play on your existing consoles today. There's nothing to worry about in the time being.
See,
That's what I got from it.
Yeah, I've got kind of a hybrid of what you just said. So, I think that he's got a lot of room around what he said for people to interpret and for them to kind of do whatever they want. I think, in all likelihood, what they'll be doing is kind of taking a, one-on-one approach with each of these games. Like maybe they take a look at this game and say, hey, this did really well. Is this something that we think that could do really well for us? Is this something we think they could do really well here? And they just dole it out piece by piece and decide what's going to be where. I mean, that's going to take, a lot of handling and deciding, where things are going to go and which studios are going to develop which things. Because realistically, with all of this inquisition of, IP, they have a whole herd of studios. They could put any studio they want to work on any of these kind of things. And I mean, we've seen in the past how, some studios have been pressured into doing games that they're not into. That can not always go as well as you think. But I think maybe my weird interpretation or the way that I came up with looking at this is like, maybe this is Phil's way of saying that, maybe Xbox isn't going to be the place you're going to play in the future, but maybe it doesn't have to be the only place you can play. Like they're already trying to get it on like TVs and stuff. You can already do like cloud streaming from your phone and stuff, but there's also like the deal with like Apple and, Google and their walled garden and Unity trying to, or not Unity, Epic trying to get their own store front up. If Microsoft can get a legit storefront up on mobile and not just have cloud streaming, then, well, hey, there's a whole nother place. They put Resident Evil 4 Remake and Assassin's Creed Mirage on mobile games as like a full price release. Well, that's a piece of the pie Xbox certainly wants. And they just bought King that's going to enable them to get into that market in a huge way because they already understand all the technologies and just have a pathway for them to get things over there. So I think that realistically, it makes sense in my mind for Xbox to continue to have a physical Xbox. Now, whether or not that has any physical media associated with it, that may go away. But I mean, realistically, nobody buys PC games on a disc anymore.
I don't even think they release them on a disc anymore, do
they?
they?
And the PC gaming community isn't really up in arms about it. And I bet Xbox can safely take that same approach. They've already advertised that, or not advertised, but had that leak for the all digital, mid-series revamp for the Series X. So leading into the future, if you can get a Microsoft store on mobile, well, you know what? Maybe Sony will take that too. Like if Xbox is going to continue to just like not sell enough consoles to really one-on-one compete with Sony, but they say, hey, you know what if we can get on your platform either because you can't keep us out or because we can cut a deal and we can both make enough money here instead of trying to fight you all the time on this. And then they could go to Nintendo and then they can go to here and they can go to there, but if they could get ubiquitously everywhere, which I think is ultimately what they would prefer going into the future, to just have like, here's your Xbox ecosystem, play it on your PlayStation, play it on your Nintendo, play it on your next generation Xbox, play it anywhere you want. You're here with us.
Well, so they're going to have to grow in some capacity because I did see an article recently. It wasn't tied to this, but it was around the lines of, if they are not able to grow their subscriber base significantly for Game Pass over the next like 5 years, I think it was, they're going to start thinking about shuttering a lot of this stuff too. So this is this is really a test for them moving forward. Like they are going to have to make, you know, progress with this. I don't remember
Yeah.
how many millions of people are already subscribed, but like say they only increase their subscription over the next couple of years by like 2 or 3 million. That's not significant movement for as much money as they're putting into this right now.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to start looking at, are they going to start increasing prices? At that point, you're going to start pricing people out of it too. So then what do? You probably end up selling off studios at that point and IPs. So it's really interesting the time we're in right now, where it's kind of this like, you know, what's Microsoft going to do now that it's so deep in, like, entrenched in gaming right now?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see, man. There's a lot of different routes that this could take over the next few years. All right. Our next thing here is in the year 2023, one new Wii U was sold. Now, I'm wondering if they cracked open that Wii U, but this is Zach Sweezen at Kotaku. So you might be asking, like, how the hell does this even happen? And honestly, the answer is probably just a Wii U was sitting on a back shelf for like 10 or 15, well, I guess 10 years. And it just got stuck there. And then at some point, some employee was like, oh, this probably needs to be put on the floor. Let me go ahead and list it for sale. And some lucky guy goes and picks it up and has a sealed Wii U.
That, or like maybe somehow it winds up going into like an online search for like something you can't even find in a store, but like randomly, like it's still in the product listing on like Target's website or something crazy. Or my mind, I was wondering if it could be like, do like mom and pop game shops ever order like new stock of
They,
consoles?
they do, but
And
I
maybe
don't.
they would just have one sitting on a shelf forever. And now it's like they're selling it at like a higher than new price, so nobody's ever bought it, but somebody walked in and was like, you know what, I'll take that Wii U even though it's like $500.
But see, like, I don't think what was referenced in this, as far as like how they measure consoles sold, I don't know that a mom and pop shop, like a sale for a new Wii U, would trigger whatever
Yeah.
this program is. Like, that's more like larger
So
retailers, I think.
this was reported by Matt Piscatella. He's on Twitter. He is the, what is he here? He's the executive director at Circana, which is formerly NPD. He posted this on Twitter. He also threw in a fun fact that the last time a new Vita unit was sold was in November 2021, when 3 of them were purchased. But Circana, they track individual store level sales data, and they keep tabs on that and they sell it to people. So, I mean, they're not very specific in that description of like exactly which store data they're tracking. But I mean, you know, if you're a big enough secondhand game store that you would actually order new stock of a console because you would sell that and people would come to you and buy it, like, I don't know if that even happens, but if it did and you wanted to report those numbers, I mean, maybe they have your data.
I think the more likely scenario is that it's like some random Walmart in North Dakota happen to
That's
have
what
like a
retail
bunch of,
employees suspect, it says.
yeah, that's gotta be it. Like I don't know, there's obviously different ways that it could have happened, but I think that's the more likely scenario. It was just sitting in some stock room in a Walmart. And like I've seen PS2 games at Walmart before, like Just Dance and stuff, and they're new. They're not used copies,
Yeah.
they're brand new copies. So, I've seen that type of stuff before, and it's got to be like stock is just sitting there, dude. Or like they get a random box from corporate of things that have been sitting at a corporate warehouse and it comes through. You see it not all the time, but you do see it occasionally.
Yeah.
So just an interesting thing there. All right. Our next thing here is Nintendo has revealed Mario's new voice actor, and this is Wesley LeBlanc at Game Informer. So, Ryan, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, so Nintendo finally came out. People had been kind of suspect from the moment that the new Mario Wonder trailer came out, and people were like, that doesn't sound like Charles Martinet. And then, you know, all the Martinet retiring from the role of Mario, and people have been pouring over, like, you know, trying to find the information on who this new Mario voice can be. And Nintendo finally came out and said it is Kevin Afghani. So congratulations to Kevin. He has had a couple of other, you know, slightly notable roles in the past for some things. He's in Genshin Impact. He plays Raditz from Dragon Ball in like a fan release. He's done a couple of things, so good on him. I'm sure that when Mario comes out, because the world we live in, people will have strong opinions. So I hope that he is well received by the community, and he's another new voice for Mario. I mean, we are weathered Chris Pratt. I'm sure that Kevin will bring his all to the role.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. At some point, voice has to go, right? The original voice is going to go away, and they're going to have to bring in somebody new. I mean, that just happens. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
God,
until the AI takes over.
that's true. I mean, with the deep fake stuff, I mean, that's a whole different ballgame, right? But, I mean, imagine if like 15 years ago, Charles Martinet, like he died, right? In the middle of all of us, they'd have to get a new voice anyways
Yeah.
at that point, right? So like, you just kind of picture it from the perspective of like, guys no longer doing it. You got to bring in somebody fresh. What I question though is like, what direction are they going that they need to bring in a new voice for Mario? Like all the audio clips they have of Martinet over the years, they can't just reuse a lot of that and continue like to provide him with
we're going into
royalties?
a whole new age. I mean, Mario's had a movie. Like, who knows how far away we are from having like some version of a fully voiced Mario game potentially.
Or
like
a TV
it could
show.
happen one day. Like it's not impossible to say that it's could happen.
I don't know. I'm seeing a text here from my contacts at Nintendo saying, well, we don't put voices in games because it's well above the budget. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's cool. Hopefully he does the role justice, and there's not a whole lot he has to do. You just can't screw it up. That's the big thing, right? So, all right. On to the next piece here, and this is probably your favorite item, is the PS5 Slim is a lot smaller than we thought. And this is Isaiah Colbert at Kotaku. Ryan, I texted you and I was like, hey, PS5 Slim just announced. Here it is. And you're just like, yuck. Like they've gone and increased the price point for the digital by $50. If you want to go ahead and have a stand, it's like an extra $30. Removable disk drive and everything on the other Slim. Like it's just, there's a ton of things that they've done to like upsell with this new Slim version. It's kind of shitty, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
but in terms of size, it is definitely smaller, but still gigantic.
Yeah, I mean the beauty of having a slim console in the past has been like half the size, 2/3 the price. Like it's always been smaller and cheaper, and now they're actually upcharging you on the price of the digital version. Like
your plan backfired.
The disk drive.
Your plan backfired.
And then they're side selling you the disk drive for $100 extra. And then for the stand, they want more money. John, your 3D printer better be ready to go, because you could sell some $20 stands and make some money.
Honestly, I probably could, but
that's the thing, man. Like in today's day and age, this is such a like weaselly thing to do for Sony. Like the amount of money that they're going to be saving for trimming it down that much. And then they don't even like alter the design of it. They're just like, let's just make it a little bit smaller and cut the panel line. So everybody that we just finally started selling different side panels to can't use them on the next one either. Like,
and the best part,
I mean, it's smaller, so I guess that wouldn't work anyways, but it's just like, it's so dumb. This just seems so petty, and it looks so awkward with the giant disk drive hanging out the bottom of it now compared to how big it used to be, where it kind of blended it a little more. It's just like, who is making these choices?
Well, and the best part about it is that they're going to cease production on the other ones, the original ones. So like,
oh my god,
yeah, your plan backfired, dude.
Okay,
waiting.
No, new plan.
Wait for the Pro.
There's 3 versions of the PS3, and I have the 3rd version. So in all likelihood, Sony is going to find a way to cheap out even more down the road, and hopefully they make something that looks presentable, because at this point, you know what, I don't even know like what am I buying a PS5 for? Like, I know that there's a lot of stuff on PS5, and I'm not discounting, other people's choices in games, but at this point, like, the only two things that I really want to play for PS5, if I got one, would be Returnal and Demon Souls. Like, I can't think of another game off the top of my head that I'm dying to play that I can't because of PS5. Like, maybe God of War, but that's on PS4 also.
And
And I still haven't beaten the last one.
Technically, though, you could play this on PC if you just upgrade your PC.
Well, that would be way more money, and I would rather play it on a console anyway.
Not really.
I have a laptop. I can't upgrade it. I would need to buy a whole new laptop capable of playing games.
Well, you just said your battery is going bad. Like, if honestly, like,
my battery is $40 to replace.
Tell me this: if you found a new laptop in, say, the $500 range, same cost as a PS5, right?
No,
it would not. Say you did.
It would not play it.
Let's just say it did.
You would need a $500 graphics card to go into a console, and that would be cheap. You probably wouldn't even be able to play on like great specs.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But I would need like a $1,500 laptop to play those games.
I mean, dude, technically my computer build was like...
Your computer build is not a laptop.
No, and it was like $1,200, I think, for mine. Yeah. Either way, I don't know. I kind of feel bad for you, but at the same time, I kind of have to laugh a little bit at your plan. So I think you're probably going to have to wait it out till the third version, which will be like a mid-year reboot anyways, and it'll probably still be around the same price anyways.
Yeah, I'm not sweating it.
Yeah, the other option for you would be just a used copy. Okay.
A used copy?
A used version.
Like a photocopy? Like someone just put it on their big wax market.
They were selling them on eBay, pictures for $50. So that's what you need, a used copy of a PS5. All right. It's got fingerprints on it, by the way, from them rubbing of like, I want this so bad, but I can't afford it. So here's the picture I bought instead. That'll be Ryan. The Wolverine. It's the Wolverine picture with Ryan rubbing a picture frame of a PS5.
The one thing that I would have liked from a PS5, and I almost certainly would have done, would be to like put the Kaiba head on top of it.
That'd have been good.
Because it looks like his freaking jacket.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into our inflation deflation week. This is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. It was developed by Next Level Games, published by Nintendo, directed by Bryce Holiday, released in March of 2013. It is an action-adventure game with a reception of around 8 to 9 out of 10. Ryan, synopsis on this game.
Yeah, so in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, King Boo escapes from his painting and he shatters the Dark Moon, releasing ghosts on Evershade Valley. Professor Egad contacts Luigi to go on another ghost hunting adventure across 5 different mansions to recover the pieces of the Dark Moon in this haunting adventure. This is a good one for spooky season. I actually got this one back from, I think, our friend Mel when I used to live with them. And I can't remember if it was my birthday or if it was Christmas or what, but I definitely have tried to play this game during spooky season, like maybe a year or two ago, and it's fun. I don't have a lot of history with Luigi's Mansion though. Like, I never played the first one on GameCube, even though I had a GameCube. I played this one like a long time ago, obviously. It must have been like around the time it was coming out, because that was around 2013, I think. And then what else? I never played the newer one. This one's being remade now to come out on Switch next year, but it's a good time. What do you have with Luigi's Mansion?
Honestly, not much experience at all. And I don't know if it's so much as like I didn't like the game or just never really thought to play them. I own the Luigi's Mansion games. It's not an issue for me. I will say after this experience, it does make me want to play one and get the full story and play through that on GameCube. Because it was actually a lot of fun. Even the bit that I played, like just going through the mansion, the puzzle aspects of it, being able to suck over like rugs and stuff to find, steps that you could unlock doors and in drawers and stuff of that nature, sucking up, like, I guess it's technically ectoplasm that you're sucking up in certain areas that are blocking doorways and pieces of furniture. So I thought there was a lot of really cool elements in like this small, compact Mario or Luigi game. So I'd be interested to see like where does it differ in number one, and how does this build upon, what number one was able to, obviously succeed in when it was released. So like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought this was great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really good one. I think that the public sentiment on this game was definitely strong. I think that the 3DS really brings a lot of, I don't know. I love the 3D effect from the 3DS. Like anytime I get a chance to go back and play something on the 3DS, I really do feel like it kind of pulls you in. And I feel like the world of Luigi's Mansion is shaped and designed in such a way that like it feels like it adds like a nice extra layer to the experience. I really think that, you know, I mean, the controls and everything, like they were definitely ironed out. I mean, the first game did so well that people naturally wanted more of it. And I think putting it on the 3DS was a great job of getting that out to everybody, as opposed to, you know, if they had decided to try to put it on like the Wii U or something instead. I do really enjoy a lot of the like just the atmosphere of these games. Like the spooky side of Mario is great for me. Like I love Dark Town in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and I like the whole like Boo's Manor in, you know, regular Paper Mario, Ghost House, like all of that type of Mario vibe. I really dig it. You know, it's great for this time of the year. And Luigi has just so much expression, and there's so much like life in the ghosts and things. Like I really feel like it's one of the best looks into the Mario world, and Luigi just, you know, it really blew him up into everybody's, you know, realm when the first one came out. And I think that this one does such a good job of having that, you know, spirit and feel to it. I love it.
Yeah, and having not played the first one, I really do love the relationship between the professor and Luigi. And he's like, "Oh, hey, like you're the only ghost hunter I know."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "So here you are." And Luigi's like, "No, I really don't want to do this," but he's like forced into the situation. And
Yeah.
I love how that all kind of breaks out. And then it's kind of weird at times though. So I think it was like he hands him a flashlight. He's like, "Yeah." When he gets the flashlight,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. Like you don't want to do this, but you're like, yeah, I got a flashlight because it's gonna make me so much safer. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was, as far as cutesy games are concerned, with like, it's meant to be the spooky world of Mario, like you said, but it just has like that cute vibe to it as well. It's kind of refreshing for a title like this. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I liked it. Going into the brass tacks on this, complete in box will run you right now $17.98. It peaked at $32.77 in March of 2013, so it was around release time. It is trending up right now. A loose copy will run you $12.10. Peaked at $36.49 in 2013 of March, which is kind of weird. How that
Yeah, I
peaks,
know. We never really see that.
Yeah, it's always interesting. So somebody, for whatever reason, probably paid more than they should have on a used copy. And in a digital console, it's really not available on digital console, but we're looking at Luigi's Mansion 2 HD releasing on Switch in 2024.
No price announced yet.
No price announced yet, but I would imagine $60.
It'd be
So,
nice if they could do it for 40, but we'll see.
who knows at that
I
point?
want to point something out here. So this is a weird era for games. They came with an instruction booklet, but it's not an instruction booklet. It's just a fold out page that has all of the Nintendo garbage on the back. And then it just kind of tells you what the controls are and has a little summary of the poltergust. But it's just like, it's pretending it's the last dying grasp of the instruction booklet for games. And
Oh man,
you know
they
what?
got
It's
even worse.
disappointing.
They got even worse than that. They started doing like a 1-page insert after
Yeah.
a while. It wasn't even that. So As far as price is concerned, I think personally that this game is deflated. I think that it's definitely worth like $20.
Yeah, this is like a $20
Yeah,
game easy.
for sure. Yeah. So, well, that was a quick agreement.
Yeah,
on what
no,
we
I
got.
mean, this is one of those things. So like we've played tons of games that are, you know, I would say as good as this, but might be more expensive or might be less expensive. But like considering that the 3DS was like one of the easiest to get a hold of consoles, and this was like a sequel to like an incredibly popular game, like this game is probably always going to be like fairly reasonable in price. And uh, the Nintendo quality thing kind of gives it like a stable price point. Like you're probably not going to see this go down to be like a $10 game, but you probably also won't see it go up to be like a $40 game. Like getting this for $20 now would definitely be a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I know they released a ton of these. I don't know how I feel about it never hitting a $40 price point. You never know with Nintendo and their older titles, but like if you don't own this game and you can pick it up right now for $20 or less, like just do it. If you have a 3DS, I think it's totally worth it.
It's a weird chart. Like I like looking at like the chart. I always, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I wonder if this game like ramped up like on its way to October, because that's when I feel like people would be like, oh, you know what would be fun to play? Luigi's Mansion. I'll buy that. But I guess the market doesn't ever trend that way. But when you look at this, like the parallels of this chart, like there's been times where like the prices are like almost matched, like 1-to-1. Like nobody really cares that much about the box for these. And since it doesn't have a great manual, like I would say you're fine even just saving the money and getting the loose price on it.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Well, another successful episode of Game Deflators. We will be looking at either next week Home Sweet Home PS4 VR, which is probably going to make us poop our pants. That's what I'm guessing.
Is that what happens when you get scared, John?
I don't know. It might happen on this one. Or we'll be looking at House of the Dead 2 and 3 on the Wii. So either way, it's going to be a fun time on those. Is it 2 and 3 or is it 1 and 2?
Probably 1 and 2.
I don't remember. It's House of the Dead. It's on the Wii.
I used to play that on 360. Or no, on maybe just on regular Xbox.
Regular Xbox had it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be checking that out next week. One of those two. But for now, this has been episode 256 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.